Hello, Matt here from RetroOnly.com. Today we will be talking about whether the PlayStation is made in Japan. Before we get to that, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Have you ever been thinking about the PlayStation and wondered if it was made in America or made in a different country like Japan? Maybe you know Sony's headquarters is in Japan, so you wanted to know if the PlayStation is actually made there as well. Well, in this video, we'll try to answer all of your questions about the PlayStation, as well as where it's made. So is the PlayStation made in Japan? If you know that Sony is a Japanese company, you might think that the PlayStation is made in Japan, but that is not true anymore. The original PlayStations were actually made in Japan, but today, the PlayStations are actually made in China and developed mostly in the United States. If you want to know more about where the different PlayStation models were made, you'll want to keep watching the rest of this video. So, what PlayStations were actually made in Japan? Many people want to find out where the PlayStations are made. And since it's a product of Sony, many people also believe that they're made in Japan. But this is not completely true. The PlayStation consoles were originally produced in Japan, but for the development of consoles in later years, PlayStation outsourced its expertise to develop the product to Foxconn. When the PlayStation released its first console, Sony acted as the national company of Japan. Therefore, all of the developing and assembling was actually done in Japan. Eventually though, after some time had passed, Sony declared itself as an international gaming company. This meant that they developed their working and manufacturing setups in many different regions of the world. By name, all of Sony's products are Japanese, but the latest products of Sony, such as the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4, and soon to be the PlayStation 5, are all completely developed and made in China and the United States. Today, almost all the products for the PlayStation 4 and other of the latest hardware are all made in China. The PlayStation is not just one console either. It's a complete brand that has consoles, handheld devices, and lots of other hardware and accessories as well. And all of these devices are not developed or made in the same place. Some of them are developed and produced in Japan, while others are developed in some other places around the world. Also, in general, one type of console is not only developed in a single place. There are many different places that work on the development of the same console, so many things have to be considered when you think about only one facility making a single system. Originally, the PlayStation was developed by Sony Interactive Entertainment, which of course is a Japanese brand. This makes the PlayStation a Japanese product, but it has multiple locations around the world that develop the product in different countries as well as manufacture it. When was the first PlayStation released? The first PlayStation was released in Japan in 1994, along with a variety of games, controllers, and other accessories. This makes the original PlayStation a Japanese product that was also designed and produced in Japan. But as with most products, as the consoles increased in demand, they began to outsource their products' production, and it did not stay in Japan long term. Where's the main headquarters of PlayStation? Today, PlayStation has its headquarters in three main locations: California in the United States, London, and Tokyo. And in recent years, the main headquarters that operates all the main functions and decision making has shifted from Tokyo to California. So the main headquarters of PlayStation today is actually in San Mateo, California. Now, not all of the products are developed in the same region either. Each PlayStation console consists of many different parts, and all of them are developed in various parts of the world. They are then exported and assembled in one location. Although there are many manufacturing warehouses in China and other Asian countries for PlayStation, they do not have the office setup that does the complete decision making for the PlayStation. Those are in California, Tokyo, and London. This means there are only three parts of the world that actually make the decisions about the PlayStation console. And those are California, London, and Tokyo. Manufacturing in China. Today, Sony has set up its manufacturing plants in China because of the demand all over the mainland, as well as their cheap labor. China can now manufacture, assemble, and sell the PlayStation products in its region all on its own. Of course, there are restrictions that they have to follow the same quality standards and procedures in the making of the console in order to keep the standard of the gaming console high. China has the biggest gamer market in the whole world, and they participate in almost all of the gaming competitions all over the world as well. But their main gaming system isn't a console, it's a PC. Originally, China had to import all of Sony's products, but now they have many different locations that actually manufacture the PlayStation. This allows them to sell the game system cheaper for the gamers in China, and the prices are similar as they are here in the United States, which is a ploy that Sony's using to try and increase their presence in that country. Because of the gaming demand and to save money, China and Japan have agreed on the manufacturing of the PlayStation in China as well. But even though they produce and assemble the PlayStation in China, it doesn't make it a Chinese company. That's just where it's made. The company is originally from Japan, and even today its products should still be called Japanese products, although they aren't made in Japan. But aren't games banned in China though? China did face a huge gaming ban of almost 10 years long in the past. This ban was due to the bad gaming environment that was originally in China, so the government cracked down on all consoles. China wanted its youth to focus on something more productive, so they placed this ban on consoles. But it didn't work as they planned, as there were many black markets that spread a lot of gaming technology all over China. This forced China after almost 10 years to rescind the ban, but during these 10 years people only gamed on the PC, so consoles still don't sell very much in China. When China removed the ban, they agreed to manufacture the PlayStation consoles in their region. This made the cost of buying a PlayStation console a little less, because almost all of the PlayStation's small equipment was manufactured in China as well. The original PlayStation. The PlayStation, also known as the PlayStation 1 or PS1, was the first of Sony's gaming consoles, and originally had to compete with Nintendo and Sega, which were both powerhouses in that era when PlayStation was first released. The PS1 was actually made in Japan, so it was a genuine Japanese product. However, the newer PlayStation consoles are not manufactured in Japan, so they're still Japanese products because Sony is a Japanese company, but they are not made in Japan anymore. The PlayStation 2 manufacturing. Originally, the PlayStation 2 was produced in Japan, but later its manufacturing was extended to the United States and European regions of the world as well. Even though it was extended to other countries, it was originally an entirely Japanese product. The PlayStation 3 manufacturing. The PlayStation 3 followed the same steps as that of the PlayStation 2. It was first produced in Japan, therefore it's a Japanese product. Then for some of the later versions, it was produced in the United States and Europe. PlayStation 4 manufacturing. PlayStation's development's main headquarters is in Japan, and this Japanese company exports their entire product line to the other parts of the company in other parts of the world. Since the PlayStation is a product of Sony, which is a Japanese company, the PlayStation is also considered a Japanese brand. It exports its entire product line to a variety of other countries, but most of the console is actually made and assembled in China. Along with the previously mentioned products, there are a lot of other products as well that are developed in different regions of the world. But most of the development work of manufacturing and assembling of the PlayStation is done in China because of the cheap labor and developing cost. And after the products are produced, they're exported throughout the world, with many of the decisions being made in the main headquarters in San Mateo, California. Conclusion. Now that you know that the PlayStation is a Japanese company, you can let all of your friends know. You can also use this information to impress your friends and family that you know all about where every PlayStation console is and was made at. And although the original PlayStation was actually made in Japan, that has not been true for quite some time now. The PlayStation is still a Japanese console, but it isn't made there anymore. No matter where the console is made, Sony has high standards that the countries have to follow in order to produce the PlayStation there. This means that the PlayStation that you purchase will work properly no matter what country it's actually manufactured in. This has been Matt from RetroOnly.com. Please be sure to like and subscribe to our channel.